guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so that you never miss a video. If you are new to the Career Savage community, Career Savage is all about providing up-to-date and relevant career advice for working professionals and especially college students. So make sure you're engaging in those comments, getting information about your career and other careers alike. I learned so much from you guys in the comments and I want to keep that flow of communication going. Today I'm going to be talking about how to get your regulatory affairs certification, including qualifications, cost, and what the test is like. So make sure you stick around and watch the entire video. Before we even get started, you already know I'm gonna say hit that subscribe button. 80% of you are watching my videos, but you are not subscribed to my channel, which means you are missing out on videos like this. You wanna be notified. You wanna be the first to see this information when it comes out. All right, let's get started. So a lot of people talk about getting their regulatory affairs certification or their RAC. Going on in this video, I'm just gonna say RAC. A lot of the times you don't need it. I, for one, do not have my regulatory affairs certification, and I'm currently working as an associate director in regulatory affairs. It's not necessary, although it does make things easier. And I think as I continue to climb the corporate ladder, it might be helpful for me to get that RAC if I decide not to get an advanced degree. Not saying I need it, it would only be for me because I want to do that. In order to qualify to sit for the regulatory affairs certification exam, there are 3 tiers. So if you have your bachelor's degree, that has to be paired with 3 years of regulatory affairs experience. If you have your master's degrees, like I do, my MPH, you have to have 2 years of experience paired with that master's. And if you have a doctorate, you only have to have 1 year of experience. They don't let you sit for that exam if you've never worked in regulatory affairs before. And I think the reason they do that is because experience is the best teacher. No matter how many books you read, regulatory affairs and the framework of regulatory strategy is so variable. It really is going to differ depending on the products you work on, the therapeutic area, the company, health authority board that you got, the reviewers you got for your application, their frame of thinking, your frame of thinking, how you posed your story. There are just way too many variable components where I don't feel it makes sense to get a certification if you don't at least have some hands-on experience. So that's one of the reasons why I think they have that requirement. If you have your bachelor's and you're interested in getting your master's of science and regulatory affairs to bypass not qualifying for the RAC, I don't think that makes any sense because you still at the end of the day have to get experience regardless. Even if you do have that master's of science and regulatory affairs, you don't qualify for your RAC unless you get 2 years of regulatory experience. There is a fee associated with sitting for the examination, and that is anywhere from $450 to like $650. It depends or not whether you are a RAPS member, and RAPS stands for Regulatory Affairs Professional Society. It's similar to CAPRA in Canada, which is the Canadian Association of Professionals in Regulatory Affairs. I'll put the link down below to both associations. So when you get your RAC, you're actually required to renew it every 3 years, and I believe you have to take 36 credits to keep your RAC standing. So what happens to a lot of work professionals is they end up getting their RAC, and then as they're actually working in industry, they don't have the time to do that continued learning. Even though you might be continually learning in your position, you don't have the time to go on the RAPS website and sit for a course or attend a conference or a webinar, which is a lot of times why people end up losing that certification after 3 years. When you are looking to get your RAC and you meet the qualifications that I previously stated, what you have to do is submit an application. And then after you submit your application and your fees, then you will schedule your exam, you'll take your exam, and then you'll either pass or fail. I know a lot of people who take the RAC exam and say it's extremely hard and that they failed the first time or the second time, and the third time they were able to take it. And yes, each time you take the exam, you have to pay that fee. So if you take it 3 times and you're a non-member, you're paying $600 for the first test, $600 for the second test, and $600 for the third test. So the test is broken out into 4 sections and there are 100 questions. So the structure of the test is you will be tested on strategic planning, which I believe covers the regulatory framework, pre-approval, approval, and post-approval. Those are the 4 categories. So strategic planning, like I said, pre-approval, approval, and post-approval. I'll put a link down below because there's a specific guide on RAPS and the regulatory certification test where it actually gives you everything that's in the test and what they're testing on in terms of, health authority interactions, post-marketing commitment, labeling, non-clin, clinical, CMC, all the manufacturing details and questions that you asked related to that. And I'll just make sure to put that down below. Essentially, that's it. Getting your regulatory affairs certification is really not that hard in terms of what you're required to do. All you need to do is get the necessary experience, study for the exam, and then take your test and maintain it every 3 years. I think having your RAC is really great in industry because it shows people that, wow, you really know your stuff and you are remaining apt in what's happening happening in industry. The fact that they make you continuously learn what's happening and stay abreast on what is, you know, trending in terms of regulatory affairs, I think that's what makes people who have their RAC absolutely phenomenal, because they know what's going on with the regulations. I guarantee you every person who has their RAC knows a lot about the regulations in regards to COVID and just managing clinical trials during a pandemic, because they are probably required to attend a webinar or read an article or something to maintain their certification. If you're interested, make sure you visit RAPS. If you're trying to figure out how to find regulatory experience, you can always check LinkedIn. Of course, like I say in all my videos, to enter regulatory affairs, you have to have some sort of scientific background. So if you have your bachelor's of science in pharmacology, chemistry, biology, you can definitely make your way in and decide on getting your RAC at a later time. There's no rush. And that's what I love about the RAC, is that you have to get the experience. You know for sure you want to be in regulatory, and a RAC makes sense for you and your career development. If you have any questions about regulatory affairs, make sure you leave those comments down below. You can also visit careersavage.com and schedule a consultation to ask me any questions you like. There are 3 options. I really love engaging in conversations with you guys, so make sure you are checking out my website and leaving those comments down below. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, bye.